Following the press conference that we're having here now regarding our request of the politicians, our Vermont delegation to look into Elbit Systems, which is an Israeli weapons company working now in Vermont. We're going to read the names of the children of Gaza who were killed by Israel, and we feel that we need to honor them in a time of somewhat of complacency, which seems to be inserted into our politics.
How many names?
We're going to read the names. Thank you for asking, Crystal. We're going to read the names. We're going to try to get through the names of the children who are less than two years old. So 1-year-old and younger, and 2-year-olds and younger. So there's about, we're going to read till dark, we believe, and it'll be about 2,000 names or less, a little less. Hello, my name is Duncan Nichols. I'm a Vermonter and a member of the Vermont Peace Antiwar Coalition, VPAC. Our group, along with many other groups in Vermont, are part of the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. We are here today to seek a commitment from our congressional delegation to ban the Israeli weapons company, Elbit Systems, from doing business in Vermont. This multi-billion-dollar company has been awarded, along with General Dynamics, a $200 million award for, with our tax money, it is our tax money, to produce the Iron Fist weapon system that is already in use in Gaza and the West Bank. This system, which has been part of killing civilians, is wrong, and we oppose it. Such a situation makes us and our economy in Vermont complicit with genocide and apartheid. The contradiction between the stated opposition of our congressional delegation, Senators Sanders and Welch and Congressperson Balint, to some weapons going to Israel while simultaneously allowing them to be produced here in Vermont and to be shipped to a country perpetrating and continuing a genocide and illegal apartheid system. This contradiction is glaring, is staring us in the face. And most people can see this once they know that this Israeli weapons company is operating right now in Williston, Vermont with General Dynamics. So we have to call it out, and the first step is alerting our congressional delegation in what we are doing here. The website, novermontbombs.org, has all this information, and we have shared that with our delegation, as well as followed up with an invitation to join us in opposing these weapons and making a statement at this microphone. Senator Sanders' staff person came down out of the office, and she will be making the statement for the senator in a few minutes. We also believe it is necessary and correct to thank the senators, Welch, Sanders, and Congressperson Balint, for their heartfelt and brave efforts to block some of these weapons in the Senate and the House. Our website, novermontbombs.org, describes their efforts over the past 2 years. What we don't show in the website, which is about the Vermont weapons industry, the website, is the tireless work done by Vermonters, the congressional delegation's constituents, to pressure them over the past 2 years and do the right thing. Regrettably, over 10,000 Palestinians, mostly civilians, had been killed before the first of our Vermont delegation Becca Balint, called for a ceasefire. That was back in 2023. We know from experience that Israel is not done with this killing, and we are here to be vigilant about such contradictions. Contradictions that glare at us through the haze of the U.S. war economy. We hope that someday our own children and grandchildren will be free of the American war machine, which drains our tax money to the tune of $1 trillion a year. For it is our own country that has enabled Israel's genocide and apartheid system, time and again, blocking ceasefire resolutions at the UN Security Council. And we say, shame on you. Shame, America. Our speakers are Robin Lloyd, who I will introduce in a minute, Sally Lincoln, a member of the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation and an early childhood educator, Henry Nichols of our group, who will also talk about the weapons in question and a future without them, a peace economy. And finally, Wafiq Faour, a Palestinian refugee and co-founder of the Vermonters for Justice in Palestine. Once everyone has made their remarks, the speakers will be happy to answer your questions. Following the press conference at 2 p.m., we will be reading the names of the children killed in Gaza. Nancy Rice, who is here, has a clipboard if you want to sign up to read the names. Let's begin with Senator Sanders' staff person, Katie Van Haast. And I don't know if I got your title right, but welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for being here today to continue to shine a light on what's happening in Gaza. I think that I can speak for all of us who work for Senator Sanders that it has been a hard 2 years to watch what has happened. And your focus in particular in reading the names of the children killed in this war is incredibly meaningful. So thank you for doing that. I'm here to read a statement from Senator Sanders from just earlier this week regarding the release of the 20 remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas and the almost 2,000 Palestinians still held in Israeli prisons. I should note as well, while not mentioned here, that Senator Sanders, among the work he's been doing over the last 2 years to end this terrible war, has been to force 7 votes in the United States Senate of joint resolutions of disapproval on the weapons sales to Israel. It is not easy to get a vote in the Senate, as we can see right now. So forcing those votes has been an incredibly important part of continuing to shine a light, as you are doing here. Right now, we welcome the long overdue release of the 20 remaining Israelis held by Hamas and the freeing of almost 2,000 Palestinians held in Israeli prisons. Hopefully, this ceasefire will hold and people in the region will find a lasting peace. The immediate priority now, amidst widespread malnutrition and starvation, must be to ensure that desperately needed humanitarian aid quickly reaches the people of Gaza. The United Nations must be granted unfettered access. Further, at a time when virtually the entire infrastructure of Gaza has been destroyed, housing, schools, medical facilities, water systems, roads, electricity generation, the international community must support the Palestinian people as they begin to rebuild their communities. But it must be the Palestinians themselves who guide this process and determine their future. To achieve a lasting peace, Israel must abandon its current extremist course and move towards a genuine two-state solution. Finally, as Americans, we must grapple with our role in this extremely dark chapter. The vast majority of Americans, like those of you gathered here today, understand that Israel had a right to defend itself against horrific Hamas terrorist attacks that killed 1,200 innocent people and took 250 hostages. But most Americans also understand that Israel did not have the right to go to war against the entire Palestinian people, killing or wounding almost 237,000 Palestinians, more than 10% of Gaza's entire population, most of them women, children, and the elderly. Tragically, the United States provided most of the weapons used by this horrendous destruction. Under Biden and Trump, the United States spent more than $23 billion in taxpayer funds to support Netanyahu's barbaric campaign. This blanket military support continued despite clear violations of U.S. and international law. This must never happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katie Van Haste of Bernie Sanders' office. And I have a statement from her that she left. She has to go back to work, so she won't be here to answer questions, but I'm sure their office would be happy to take a call from anyone in the press. I'm just going to introduce our speakers. Following our speakers, we will have questions from the press and others. So I think we've got about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes of speakers. The first is Robin Lloyd. She's a co-founder. Hold on one second. Oh, you can clap, sure. She's very clappable. Co-founder of our group VPAC, Vermont Peace Anti-War Coalition, and a longtime member of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. There you go, Robin.
Yeah, it's okay. It might blow away, and you would too.
Yeah, I might blow away too, for sure. Let's see, where am I here? There we are. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, wow. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. My name's Robin Lloyd, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, an organization that's been in existence for over 100 years, trying to stop World War I, trying to stop World War II, and now we're trying to stop World War III. I was against war as an infant, actually. And then as a basically an obedient child, I was told by my teachers, don't hit each other. And I obeyed because hitting hurts. And now hitting and hurting is all the rage, and is cheerfully described by the U.S. military in their flowery doublespeak. For example, there's something called porcupine arrow, which is a, quote, hard-kill active protection system designed by the Israeli military. I think George Orwell would appreciate some of this terminology from our Defense Department, our War Department. Active protection solutions for combat vehicles, joint direct attack munitions, kill them before they kill you. Now Israel's largest weapons manufacturer, Elbit, has developed the Iron Fist system. They have a $191 million contract to make these weapons right here in Vermont for General Dynamics. Many of these systems have already been in use in Israel and in Gaza over the last few years. And that has been fomenting a genocide. In other words, we are making the weapons here that are creating the genocide there. How are we allowing this to happen? Our three representatives have sponsored the joint resolution of disapproval. That, if you're still here. Bernie has said the United States must end its complicity in this atrocity. So what can we do about this? There are some slivers of hope here and there. I was impressed recently, the officials of Essex Town have denied a zoning change that was needed for a proposed new women's prison. So that's another issue. But the point is, maybe we, the anti-war activists, can convince local officials to speak out against war through changing zoning laws or cutting the war allocations out of the budget. So let us all speak out together, and I hope we'll be coming to the big demonstrations on the 18th, next Saturday, the No Kings Rally, and we can march together as a group saying no war. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Well, Robin has her cane and I have my cane, just in case. So, does someone know when the No Kings congregating to get ready to go on the No Kings March, where that starts from and what time on Saturday?
Callahan Park.
What?
Callahan Park.
Callahan Park
At 10 a.m.
at 10 a.m.
In Burlington.
Bring the anti-war
In Burlington.
in Burlington, free Palestine message.
1 o'clock in Montpelier.
And what time?
11:30 in Montpelier.
11:30 in Montpelier. No
If you come at
Kings.
1, you'll just join us.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to hear from Wafik Fawar at the end, and we're going to hear from Henry in a minute, but a few minutes. We'd like to hear from Sally Lincoln, who I'm not sure if she's going to speak extemporaneously, but she's got something written down.
I did, I got it.
Sally is a Burlington resident, I believe. No?
I'll tell you right.
She'll tell us. Anyway, she's works with young children, and in about a half hour we'll be reading the names of the children killed in Gaza, and we'll be doing that till nightfall. So here's Sally.
Hi everyone, I used to live in Burlington. I came to UVM in 1986. So for anyone remembering that time, we could say the apartheid was South Africa, yes. But I live in Ferrisburg now, North Ferrisburg. Hello, my name is Sally Lincoln. I live in North Ferrisburg, Vermont, and I've been an educator for almost 30 years. And I have to say, that's crazy sounding to me. I've worked in various settings and with children of different ages, but mostly with 2 to 8-year-olds. I wanted to show up today to speak for the children that cannot anymore because they have been killed by the genocidal state of Israel and with our country's complicity in it. Even though the bombs have stopped dropping in Gaza on paper, which is a welcome start, there is still widespread devastation and destruction. Within hours of the ceasefire, Israeli soldiers were already breaking the terms. They burned homes, food supplies, and a critical sewage treatment plant in Gaza City. Israeli forces opened fire on families, killing 9 people trying to return to their neighborhoods. There are so many children who have lost one or both of their parents, not to mention the thousands who are amputees. Israel is continuing to use collective punishment on all of the Palestinian people. They are still under siege, and not enough aid is getting in to help everyone. There are still over 10,000 Palestinians being held in detention. Our media likes to call them prisoners, but they're hostages, so we'll just call them detainees, like what we see in our country, right? Held in detention without charge, and over 400 of them are children. This is shameful. Children are the future of our world, and it is our responsibility to be guardians of that future. When I explain things to kids about the world and how there are places where different rules or laws in place for different people, they get it right away. That is not fair or just. They understand that it is wrong to outlaw collecting rainwater. that taking people's lands and homes is not okay, that blocking rescue workers from helping people makes no sense. Some people think that kids are too young to understand things and that we need to shelter them from the world until they are older and know better. I come from a different belief. I believe that kids are smarter than you think. I believe that kids want to be part of the conversation. I believe they know that lies are bad. I believe they don't let differences divide them. I believe they feel things deeply, have big dreams, and want to discover the world. I also believe that they can handle the truth and that they can make a difference right now. When I'm with kids, I tell them they are like a garden, and they laugh at me. I explain to them that when we learn new things, it's like planting seeds in the ground. We need to give these seeds our care, such as water, sun, and space, and that with some hope, they might start to sprout and thrive. I don't expect all the ideas I share with kids will sprout or take root, but I do know that if the seeds aren't even planted in the first place, then nothing will grow. So I will keep planting seeds of change in kids and hold them up high and tell them they are the future change makers of the world. Some of them don't believe me, and I share with them the word grassroots. I'm usually with almost kindergartners, so I give them the when you're a kindergarten, you're at the bottom supposedly, but you can make your way up to those seniors and tell them what it is. I share with them the word grassroots and how change can come from the bottom. That if enough of us work together, we will be unstoppable. So let's go, people. And for teachers and students all over Vermont, let's make sure that State Resolution H 168 that protects our freedom of speech is uplifted and passed. The Education Justice Coalition, Jewish Voice for Peace, and the ACLU are all helping guide the conversation to ensure that our First Amendment rights are protected in this bill. Unlike the bill H310, which was sponsored by some of those genocide fivers that went to Israel on a paid trip to get neutral information. Not true. Unlike the bill H310 that wants to make being critical of the state of Israel equal to anti-Semitism. This will make educators fearful of losing their jobs if they call out a genocide. Let's end our complicity in genocide and supporting an apartheid state. Let's get weapon companies out of Vermont and encourage industries that help the world not make money off of destroying it. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Thank you, Sally. So we have someone here, in addition to Henry and Wafiq, who may want to say a few words. I think she is in direct contact with some people in Gaza and has been for years now. Crystal, would you like to say a few words? Crystal Zivon, thank you.
Well, I don't have anything prepared. As Duncan just said, I've been in touch with the family almost daily for 2 years. And I thought it might be a good idea to just let you know the latest of what they said. They're still in Al Mawasi in a tent. Their village is beyond the line, that map that we've seen. So the Israelis are blocking off their access to where they used to live. But one of their family managed to sneak through and took pictures of the complete devastation, just like we've all seen in Gaza City. Over these past 2 years, I wrote a play called One Family in Gaza, which has been performed a couple times in Burlington and different places, based on these texts. And at the end of the play, I will tend to update what's been going on. And the update now from this one family in Gaza whose daughter was 3 months old on October 7th and learned to walk over the rubble, who doesn't know what a solid wall is because they've been displaced in tents more than 20 times. The two boys are 5 and 7 now. And I really appreciated Sally talking about the children because they do understand. They understand so much. And what's happening there now is people are so desperate. They're turning on each other, and which is what would happen. And we don't hear about that. We don't hear about what it takes to get food. Yasser, the father of the family, now needs an operation that he needed since before the war, and of course there's been no way for him to get it, and he can't go get water anymore, and he doesn't know what he's going to do. They haven't received any aid, and when his younger brother managed to sneak through the Israeli lines and get to see their house, to see what the destruction was, there were bombs in the shape of dolls in the rubble. So, we don't hear about any of this stuff. And I just thought it was important to say that, it's even worse than what we hear. And I thank you all for being here. And in the names of Yasser, Nada, Maria, Yusuf, and Mohammed, thank you.
Thanks, Crystal. We have 2 more speakers. And first we'll start with Henry. Henry, you can tell us, Henry is a member of our group, Vermont Peace Anti-War Coalition, and also Vermont, I always mess this up. Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. So we've been working hard, and Henry's been working hard. And what have you got to say?
Yeah, I'm Henry Nichols, and we all here probably are pretty aware that this so-called ceasefire has already been broken, and any of the measures within it are tentative and likely to be broken. Any of it. And why do we all know this? Because the US government provides 70 to 80% of the weapons to Israel, and they haven't cut off a single bomb. There's no incentive for Israel to stop its genocide, and Israel has said that this is its goal. All of the highest ministers have admitted this. And so if the US government continues to provide 70 to 80% of the weapons, we know what will happen. So it's on us to make a change. And that means boycott, it means divestment, it means AFC, apartheid-free communities. And it means not just calling for an arms embargo, but looking at this state. An Israeli weapons company has a $191 million contract about 10 miles from here. They make the Iron Fist. This is Elbit working with General Dynamics in Williston. They make the Iron Fist, which allows Israeli tanks, Israeli bulldozers, which bulldoze Palestinian homes, allows them to operate with impunity. They already are attacking a defenseless population, and we are giving them extra weapons. Over the course of this genocide, the amount of weapons that the US has given Israel, it hasn't remained the same. It's increased by at least 5 times. 5 times more than we used to give as a reward for genocide. So we know what's going to happen if something doesn't change. And we have to look at Vermont because the rest of the US has not made that change yet. So there's a $191 million contract with an Israeli weapons company here. There's also hundreds of millions of dollars of contracts with other weapons companies here. Global Foundries makes chips that are put in smart bombs, which then intentionally target children. And though we appreciate our congressional delegation's work to end certain offensive arms shipments, they have not said anything about the weapons companies here in Vermont. Some of them, I believe all three of them, were actively in favor of the Global Foundries contract, which includes hundreds of millions of dollars for chips, and many of those chips go to smart bombs which target children. So this is a big contradiction where we have forced our congressional delegation to say some of the things that they need to say. They have now admitted this is a genocide far too late. They have finally called for an end to certain weapons sales to Israel because of the pressure that we've put. But we as Vermonters need their help to look at Vermont. And we have to educate, we have to talk to the workers. This is not against any kind of worker. This is to convert hundreds of millions of dollars of funding that is going to kill children instead of flood relief, climate relief, jobs. If you have hundreds of millions of dollars going to the most expensive weapon systems in the world, the amount of jobs that you have is only a few thousand. Think about hundreds of millions of dollars, how many people you could pay with that money if it wasn't going to the most expensive, most destructive things on earth. So that's what we have to do. We have to talk to our average people, tell them to talk to whoever they can find to try to convert this war economy into a peace economy. There are peaceful uses for chips. There are peaceful uses for aeronautics. There's also tractor parts that can be built, musical instruments, culverts. We all know the flooding.
Electric bicycle.
Electric bicycles. So we all know what will happen if we don't change things. Vermont has a big role in this. And I think the rest of the United States is also aware that we have $1 trillion military budget and people are starving in this country. Many more people are starving in Gaza, and that's on us to stop it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Henry. We have a lot of Palestinian flags here, if anyone wants to grab one. We also have a few people from Bread and Puppet here with the poppy banners that you see. There's a beautiful work of art by Jerome. Who is that? Dragon Dance Theater. Sam Pearson. Beautiful piece of art. So we're human beings and we express ourselves. Our last speaker is Wafiq Fawar. He's a Palestinian refugee. He's an American, I believe, and an eloquent advocate and champion of his country. Thank you, Wafiq.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Duncan, Henry, Robin, for organizing this. I will start by saying, don't call it ceasefire. Stop. Let's stop calling it ceasefire. We are not fair to call it ceasefire when the Palestinians still dying every day at the hand of the Israeli army by American weapons. Israel broke every ceasefire during this war and before that. Palestinians in the West Bank still getting killed every single day. Let's not call it ceasefire. Let's take our responsibility. Without the American support, Israel has no choice but to respect what's so-called ceasefire. We heard the American president, what did he say? He mentioned the weapons have been sent to Israel and did, as he called it, a good job. The President of the United States mentioned 60,000 Palestinians get killed. He admitted that. And yesterday, the President of the United States is still threatening the Palestinians for more death.
Hey.
Take your responsibility. Vermont is not only making weapons to kill people overseas. Americans usually, they say we go to war to save people here. We're going to fight them there before they come here. Walk on these streets and the homeless dying and the drug problem we have. Americans are dying here and your government doing nothing about it. People are hungry here. They don't have health care here, but you send your money and your weapons to kill our people in Palestine. Let's take responsibility. Let's take responsibility here in Vermont. When Palestine became a local issue, 5 of your representatives, they fly to Israel to plant Vermont flag over there in Palestinian, a ruined Palestinian village. Take your responsibility. We cannot be silent about that. Maybe the cameras will leave and the media will stop or call it the signature have happened. But the genocide and ethnic cleansing never stopped for 77 years. Let's take responsibility over that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wafiq. So we'd like to open it up to questions from the media or anyone, but preferably from the media first. I'm not sure if we should have our speakers all stand up here, but you can address your questions to any one of them or generally, and we'll try to do our best to answer. So we'll spend about 15 minutes doing questions, and then we're going to read the names of the children as far as we can get through till about dark, the children of Gaza. So those who want to read the children's names and they want to get on our list here, they're welcome to sign up with Nancy Rice. She has the clipboard. She's got the black hat. And so we can't promise that you'll be able to read right away, but if you'll stay a while, you'll have a chance to read some of their names. Can we have some questions? And I may not be the right one to answer these questions, so Henry's probably got a lot of information on this weapons contract with Elbit Systems. Wafiq, of course, has history. Crystal, yes.
I understand that you and the board provided a Congressional delegation to address this important issue here today. So can you tell us what was the response from Peter, Bernie, and Darren? I'm afraid I missed that earlier, but I'd like to know that.
Okay, right. We sent a letter to all of our people in Congress, the 2 senators and the congressperson, Becca Balint. We heard back from all of them very soon, about 2 weeks ago. They thanked us, in particular, Welch's office thanked us for mentioning the legislation that they brought. But we did ask them to be here, and none of them have replied to that query. We felt that they should acknowledge this weapons contract in Vermont. There are ways to stop it, and we suggested some of those ways. One is to go to the Attorney General in Vermont and have them sue the company have a immediate injunction to stop production while there's an investigation. There are ways to deal with this. It's been done with chemical companies, for example. So, but there's no response to that, and we're not surprised. So any more to that question specifically? Thanks, Jude. Other questions? And I'm really not the one to answer all these questions, so.
Do we have a count of how many Palestinians have been killed since the so-called ceasefire?
Sophie, do you want to come up here?
At least 150 people. And the number doesn't stop on the 67,000 who got killed. There are thousands of people are missing and under the rubble. And beside that, the ceasefire have been broken already, and all the entry from the borders of Gaza have been closed this morning. No more trucks entering. So Israel taking advantage of continuing its war as long as the United States giving it its blessing. So we have to be careful to call it ceasefire now.
Questions? I guess it's.
Can you tell us more about
Sure.
Elbit Systems and what they are doing here in Vermont, both in relation to surveillance issues and in relation to their manufacture of war materials?
Henry will answer that.
The question was more information about Elbit. They are, there's Israel's largest weapons manufacturer. As I said before, they have a $191 million contract in Vermont. They make something called the Iron Fist in Vermont. And that is in the Israeli arsenal at this moment. General Dynamics, who they're partnering with, throughout the country makes all kinds of weapons that are in the Israeli arsenal. In Vermont, General Dynamics makes the Mk-82, which is in the Israeli arsenal right now. Elbit is also one of the biggest surveillance companies in the world. They make equipment that goes to the border that helps with the dystopian treatment of migrants in this country. There are Elbit towers on the northern border of Vermont as well. And they have, these companies have shows, trade shows, where they talk about this equipment and they admit that it's tested on Palestinians first and then exported around the world. And they seem to be proud of it.
How many employees here in Vermont?
I'm not sure with Elbit.
It's a big company.
It's a huge company worldwide. The number of workers in Vermont compared to the contract, which is $191 million, the number of workers is minuscule. What it would take to replace those workers, which I believe is in the hundreds, would be a tiny amount of money compared to $191 million. So we can help them with grassroots. That could be having local progressive organizations reach out to the workers and say, you know, potentially they could give them a job for a couple months while they try and transition or something like that. But or local farms or something. But I think we should look at this in a broad way, where the pressure, the education, and if people feel ashamed because of the education, that's natural. But also trying to bring them in to end the war economy and try to convert it to a peace economy.
Well, actually, Bernie Sanders has been, he came out against the last few military budgets. He voted no on them. So $1 trillion, excuse me?
He's been a representative here.
What?
He sent a representative here.
And he sent a representative here. So thank you for that. Yes, a question?
Well, yeah. About 40 years ago now, some of us who are present today and a lot of other people were involved in actions down on Pine Street against the General Electric plant that later morphed into General Dynamics, where they were making machine guns, Gatling guns, to kill peasants in Central America. This was during the Reagan regime. And that was a very effective form of protest. I was just wondering, some of us also went out to the testing range in Underhill, protest there. I was wondering if anything like that was being considered now against General Dynamics Elbit.
I hope so. I think there is some conversations going on. One of the problems is that anti-Semitism is being hurled. The accusation of anti-Semitism has actually become codified in law, and in Britain, I think there's a very long prison sentence for being associated with a certain group who's been doing solidarity work.
Genocide action, but hundreds of people have gotten arrested for saying that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so of course if hundreds of people would get arrested in Vermont, that would be okay with us, certainly. So it's a good question.
Well, let's organize.
What?
Time to organize.
Time to organize, says Crystal. Other questions? NBC5 News, question? Nancy?
Conflating anti-Semitism with Palestine is a crime by itself. Every time we open the subject of how the Palestinians are facing the occupation, apartheid, and genocide, people open the question of anti-Semitism. Here in Vermont, to extreme that they are introducing H.310 is to change the definition of anti-Semitism, that press conference like this would be anti-Semitic to take a place if Vermont adopt the new definition. The new definition, if you criticize the state of Israel, which is political entity, not only political entity, foreign political entity, you are considered against the law and you will face jail. But us, you and I, we can walk all Church Street criticizing United States government and the presidents, and we'll call it First Amendment rights. We're losing First Amendment rights by the supporter of the Zionist entity of Israel. Please, we repeat again, when we talk about Palestine, it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is European, white European phenomena, and we're paying for it as Palestinians. So stop there.
We'll take a few more questions. At 2 o'clock, we will stop to get organized to read the names of the children in Gaza who are no longer with us. We think it'll take 5 or 6 hours just to read the names of the ones who are under 2 years old. So we welcome people to come read with us. We'll be here till dark. At 5 o'clock is a rally where we'll welcome people who had to work today and will come after work. So we'll be here all day. A few more questions for Sally, Wafiq, Crystal, Henry. Any more questions by the press or anyone?
And I have
What?
That's an announcement.
Oh, an announcement. Okay. Well, let's finish with the questions, and we'll do a couple announcements. Any other questions? Oh, Nancy.
I just wondered if one of you could address the question of the $1 billion military budget that helps to fly the 800 military bases around the world that other countries don't have, to much extent at all. And that money could go toward student loans, healthcare, helping to improve the environment, all of these things. Well, other countries, I believe, that we give aid to, they have free health care. And they have, to a certain extent, scholarship aid for, well, even free college. So those are some things I'd like to hear a little more about.
So Nancy would like to hear a little bit more about well, it's $1 trillion a year, not including the supplementals that a few more hundreds of billions of dollars that always get tacked on to the military requests, the Pentagon requests. So that money, how could it be used? And Nancy stated some ways. Right now, that military budget supports approximately 800 bases throughout the world, which is unique to the United States. Other countries don't have foreign bases in general. There are very few. China, Russia, they maybe have 25 bases in the world. We have 800. So there's some response to the question. You're welcome. Thank you, Nancy. Other questions? Yeah, Jerry.
And we didn't have one here. We're seeing 2-year-olds starting. We saw teenagers getting burned alive in their tents. We're all watching. What will it take to get people out of the streets?
Good question. Right. Well,
I said the same thing. Why we're not doing something? Why we are just shutting up our mouths and not doing anything? Only few people every time.
Would you like to come and say something? No, seriously.
I'm afraid they will deport me. No, I'm actually sincere.
Okay.
But you know, you never know. These are like people.
Yeah, it's extraordinary
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's amazing that we get to watch this. I mean, I would say I'm traumatized. You know, I feel I'm here because I'm sick. I'm sick of this. So Sally has.
I have an idea.
Sally has an idea and maybe an announcement, and then we'll move on to reading the names. Go ahead, Sally.
Okay, so I can say that 2 years ago, in a week or less, if you'd asked me what was going on in Palestine, I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't in the movement. So somebody shared this website called IsraeliTalkingPoints.com. And if you weren't Jewish or had, in your friend work world didn't have any Jewish folks to sort of connect with, or they were only pro-Israel Jewish folks, and someone said, check out this, IsraeliTalkingPoints.com. I did. I checked it out. And I tried to look at it like I didn't know anything. And this is the only place I'm going to learn stuff. And if you look and read it, and that's what you're just going to believe, then you sort of think you are in the right. Like these people want to kill you before they kill. It's insane and brainwashed. And again, if that's where people are going to go for their information and they're going to be shamed into hearing the truth, then we have a lot of work to do. And speaking of work to do, I have things that you can come up later to get from me over in this backpack, but we have, so Burlington for 2 times enough signatures, more than enough signatures were collected to have this go to the apartheid-free community pledge to go to the voters, and 2 times the city council, and we can't actually blame any Republicans, there aren't any on there. Just the Democrats said, no, people shouldn't even talk about this or vote about it. So now the strategy this year is there's an open letter. So you don't even have to be from Burlington. You don't even have to be from Vermont. You're a part of the world. You can sign this open petition that we have that's going to be brought with the progressives to the city council at some point with hopefully thousands of signatures saying, let the friggin' Burlington voters get to vote on apartheid free. So we have those. We also have the petition to sign for the Genocide 5. So if you're not from Vermont and you didn't know, 5 reps from every state were invited to Israel on an all-paid expense trip to Israel, and they think they saw neutral things. And you should check out the 7 days from last week. A lot of us wrote letters and they printed them of like it was nothing neutral about that. They went there, and one of them is my Democrat Addison County rep who made me and other people in my town, after we got enough signatures in Ferrisburg to get the apartheid-free pledge on our town meeting, he made it sound like this was not local and this you shouldn't even be thinking about this and talking about it. And then he plants the Vermont flag, or they plant the Vermont flag in occupied Palestine and are proud and posting about it. So they're now called the Genocide 5 here in Vermont. I know that in other states, those reps have they've been stripped of their committees, right? So we're just at the literally sign the petition to get them to resign. And then we also have other things you can do, boycotting Teva, which is the largest generic pharmaceutical company in the world, and it's the default prescription company, just like Amazon is the default. If you Google something to buy, Teva will be your default for your prescription drugs. You can call your pharmacy right now and say, on my file, get off Teva, T-E-V-A. It's not the shoe company. It's the largest pharmaceutical, and it's directly tied to Israel, and they have their own issues besides being tied to Israel. So you can come to find me and sign all those things or get papers. Thank you.
Yes. We're clapping for organizing. We're clapping for the future. So over here is a table with both boycott information as well as the Vermont project to get the state to become apartheid free. It's a Quaker, comes from the American Friends Service Committee. It's rolling out all over the world. The world is now starting to boycott Israel. It's been effective already. South Africa became a country that where the blacks, who were the majority, could then vote because we boycotted them. The world boycotted that country. So that's the next step with organizing. Right now, we're going to start to read the names of the children. It's we won't be really being humorous from this point on. And Wafiq Faour will begin with reading some of the names. Thank you.
Noura Walid Abdessalam Shaheen didn't reach first birthday. Miriam Nuruddin Wael Dabam didn't reach first birthday. Fatima Luay Rafiq Al-Sultan didn't reach first birthday. Watan Muhammad Abdul Rahim Al-Madhoon didn't reach first birthday. Muhammad Al-Jabari Saeed Misbah Al-Khour didn't reach first birthday. Dia Ahmed Abdul Ati Saleh Musa didn't reach first birthday. Uday Muhammad Rafiq Al-Sultan didn't reach first birthday. Muhammad Nidal Hashim Atallah didn't reach first birthday. Ahmad Shadi Talal Al-Haddad didn't reach first birthday. Masa Muhammad Yusuf Nasser didn't reach first birthday. Abdul Aziz Omar Farawana didn't reach first birthday. Malik Muhammad Shafiq Abul Qas didn't reach first birthday. Sarah Abdul Rahman Muhammad Hamad didn't reach first birthday. Muhammad Saleh Mahmoud Iddiri didn't reach first birthday. Makkah Ahmad Eid Abu Sharif didn't reach first birthday. Iyad Abdul Rahman Jihad Muhaysen didn't reach first birthday. Adam Mahmoud Samir Abu Ajwi didn't meet their first birthday. Alyan Abdul Rahman Alyan Al-Ashqar didn't meet their first birthday. Alma Mu'min Muhammad Hamdan didn't reach their first birthday. Diya Muhammad Zuhair Al-Bar'i didn't meet their first birthday. Misk Abdul Hayy Sami Al-Halabi didn't reach their first birthday. Elina Mu'min Riyad Al-Rifi didn't meet their first birthday. Ali Raed Khalil Rahmi didn't meet their first birthday. Yunus Wissam Abdullah Afani didn't reach their first birthday. Celine Abdul Hadi Adil Zahir didn't reach their first birthday. Asal Amir Ali Al-Ashi didn't meet their first birthday. Mira Abdul Rahman Fathi Radwan didn't meet their first birthday. Fatmi Muhammad Kamil Faisal Aqli didn't meet their first birthday. Muhammad Abdul Karim Muhammad Jabir Al-Safadi didn't meet their first birthday. Anas Abdullah Bahauddin Shaqiq didn't meet their first birthday. Subhi Hamdan Subhi Hassouna didn't meet their first birthday. Celine Ihab Ayman Al-Bahtiti didn't meet their first birthday. Muhammad Mazen Abdullah Al-Sinwar didn't meet their first birthday. Muhammad Abdul Samad Maher Muhsin didn't meet their first birthday. George Subhi George Al-Suri didn't meet their first birthday. Osama Ahmad Muhammad Hanadi didn't meet their first birthday. Ilaf Kareem Abdullah Al-Ajwi didn't meet their first birthday. Masa Jalal Mu'min Al-Harkali didn't meet their first birthday. Hassan Hamzi Hassan Al-Musa didn't meet their first birthday. Anas Abdul Aziz Muhammad Zahir didn't meet their first birthday. Daughter Suna Hani Awad didn't meet their first birthday. Naveen Muhammad Samir Saadi didn't meet their first birthday. Isam Muhammad Isam Faraj didn't meet their first birthday. Ismail Ahmad Ismail Farhat didn't meet their first birthday. Juri Anas Bassam Shima didn't meet their first birthday. Ali Abdel Noor Sami As-Suri didn't meet their first birthday. Kinaan Amin Marwan Abu Shukyan didn't meet their first birthday. Rose Abdul Aziz Muhammad Al Ghul didn't meet their first birthday. Muhammad Hamid Nidal Al Alwi didn't meet their first birthday. Muhammad Hamid Nidal Al Alwi didn't meet their first birthday. Salami Muhammad Marwan Abu Atwi didn't meet their first birthday. Sham Ahmad Fawzi Al Qafidi didn't meet their first birthday. Lu'ay Muhammad Salah Al Ajrami or Al Ajrami didn't meet their first birthday. Shahid Omar Al Qattai didn't meet their first birthday. Lana Yasser Nasif Hijazi didn't meet their first birthday. Abdullah Muhammad Abdul Hamid Mhanna didn't meet their first birthday. Ahmad Fuad Shaqiqi didn't meet their first birthday. Raed Ihab Raed Salamanli didn't meet their first birthday.